Hey everybody, so good to see you guys here. Welcome to the show. So my name is Tim, if you're just joining and we haven't met before. I am so glad you're here. If you are watching live, let me know in the chat. I do see a few people that have popped in. So let me know in the chat where you're coming from, how your classes were. We'll check in with everyone and then we will get started with the topic today, which is on taking action. So actually I've got kind of a different setup going on. I don't really have like a stable place to film and things like that where I live. So I'm always kind of moving around and trying to find the best fit. I also have a new camera. So I'm using the Logitech, I'm just see if I can remember this, the Logitech C922, which is a 1080p camera versus my built-in MacBook camera, which is 780p. And there is a huge difference. So I've got, if anyone's curious, 3 lights kind of on me at the moment, and then my camera. But I wanted to do sort of a test to see what it would be like without the Logitech C922. If anyone's into video or interested in kind of upping their game a little bit, this is a really good camera. It is about $80 US, but I'm going to just pop the built-in microphone or camera, I should say, into here so you can see. Wow, there we go. So this is using the built-in, like my brand new MacBook Pro. What a difference. You can really see the definition is so different, the clarity is different, and even with 3 quite strong lights on me, it doesn't really, my view is very dull and dark still. So definitely enjoying this new camera, and I'm just playing around with the settings of it to kind of make sure that the white balance and all that stuff is accurate. So let me know if I'm too yellow or too white, or yeah, if things look a little wonky on your end. So good to have everybody here. Let's see who is in the chat. Ben was the first one here. Hey, Ben. Yes, from Tennessee. Awesome. Good to have you. And Vanessa was here as well. That's great. And Audrey as well. Hey, Audrey. She's doing feedback. And Kathy is here. Hey, Kathy. Listening to your live while I exercise after classes. Awesome. That's great. Actually, gyms just opened today in Malaysia, so that was really good news. I was able to go to the gym this morning and get a workout in. We were doing virtual classes last week, so with the new control order that they implemented. But yeah, the government has changed that, so gyms are open, which is really good. Dr. Luza, I'm very interested on changing careers from corporate to education, and TESOL, ESL is my best route. Yes, yeah. I mean, changing really from any career is challenging, but if you want to move into online teaching, getting your TESOL is a great place to start for sure. So yeah, good to have you here as well. And Lisa is here as well, is also in Tennessee. Awesome. And Barbara is in Atlanta, Georgia. Good stuff. And Nancy's here. Hey, Nancy, good to have you. Susie's here. Wow, thanks for saying hello, everyone. It really is great to interact with you in the chat. Barbara is here. Very cool. And Catherine as well from Hudson Valley. Great stuff. Kelly is here as well. Sorry, I lost your comment there. Lisa Maines, Laurel County Preschool. Cool. So is that your own school, Lisa? Lisa's coming in from Kentucky. Very cool. Nancy is, yes, this Logitech, sorry, was somebody asking about that? Yeah, the Logitech C922. So there's 2 cameras that are very, very similar. The Logitech C920 is the one that I was almost going to get. That one is very similar to this one, except this one will do 60 frames per second at 780p, and the Logitech C920 does not. So actually, I don't really care about that, but the price in Malaysia was the same, but I know if you buy it on Amazon, it's like $20 or $30 cheaper for the Logitech C920, which will do basically exactly what I'm showing you here. So if you want something a little bit cheaper, the Logitech C920 is really good. Yeah, very cool. So good to have everybody in the chat. Hope everyone's classes were good today. We are going to talk about taking action, and I created this very short little topic / presentation because I'm in the midst of trying to take action on things, and I'm struggling. I struggle with, the goals that I have and the things that I want to put into place. I struggle with making them happen. I have that shiny object syndrome where I'm always looking to distract myself or look to the next thing, and then I'm overloaded with projects or just overwhelmed with too many things to do. And I think that's a common struggle with a lot of people is, figuring out what's important and how to, make things happen. So I just came up with a few tips, and I'd be really interested to hear what you are working on, or, what are you struggling to take action on these days that you would like to be able to put into place. So I was thinking about reasons why we don't take action, right? Whether it's something in our personal life, or it's with our business, or with online teaching. Maybe we want to do something different, or we want to work at a different company, or whatever it is. It's hard to put those wheels into motion and to make things happen. It's very easy to say, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it later. And so I've been putting some of these tips into place that I'm working on and talking about this morning to help me to kind of put things into, put the wheels into motion, so to speak. And I think that many of us are afraid to take action and are afraid to, move forward with things because we're afraid of failing. Many times, I'm afraid of doing certain things because I'm afraid that it's going to fail or it's not going to work. And those are limiting beliefs that we need to change about ourselves. As well, I'm afraid of being criticized. When you do things online or when you're sharing publicly, it's easy to be fearful of being criticized by others. So I think that's another thing that can cause us to not move forward and to make progress. And just not being able to control things. Sometimes when we do take action on things, there are things that happen that are just out of our control. And so when we can't control those things, it definitely can be challenging and cause us to put the brakes on it. So good to see a few more people popping in. So if you wouldn't mind, click the like button. That really helps. And if you're not a subscriber, you know what to do. Click subscribe. I'd love to see you again. I show up every Monday. I think this is episode number 16 of my online teaching show. And I try to show up and add value and just show up to serve you and answer questions and be of whatever help I can be to you guys. So thanks for being here. All right, let's see who popped in recently, and then we'll pop up the presentation. So Lisa says it's her public school. Very cool. And Terry's coming in from Kansas. Yes, Terry Carlson's coming in from Kansas. Awesome. And Nancy says, try Notion software. Not too sure what that is referring to. That's right. Rebecca said, sorry for my contribution to the shiny object problem. Yeah, definitely. I suffer from looking at, doing different things that are taking away from the things that I'm trying to work on. So yeah, for sure. It's so easy to get distracted. And not only the shiny object syndrome, but just the procrastination syndrome, or just putting things off or getting distracted with other things that I've got going on. So maybe some of you struggle with that as well. Would love to hear in the comments what you do to overcome that, and what are you working on or trying to work on and move forward with. I would love to hear those as well. Cindy is here. Hey, Cindy, just getting here. Awesome. Good to have you. Yeah, afraid of wasting my time. Yeah, I hear you, Cindy. Definitely hear you on that one. It's so easy to be fearful of moving forward because, well, what if all of that work that we put into whatever it is just going to be a waste of time? And I would say that anything you do to make progress in your own life or in your business is not a waste of time, because we can learn from those things, right? We learn from our mistakes, and every step forward is progress. So, and Keanu, hope I'm saying your name correctly. Aloha from Hawaii. Great. Good to have you here as well. Yeah, we have such an international crowd for sure. Notion helps you to stay on track. Thanks, Nancy. Very, very cool. Yeah, there's so many great productivity apps. I'll talk about a couple in a second. So let's pop up my presentation here on taking action. I'm going to try to go full screen so that you guys can see everything. Let me just make sure that you can. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to go through 5 tips or actionable steps that you can take to take action in things that I'm finding helpful in the things that I'm doing. So accountability is a major one. It's so important to keep yourself accountable. And I wrote here to tell a friend and make it public. Sometimes when we tell a friend, they can hold us accountable to doing what we want to do. And ask that friend to check in with you. Make sure that you're working towards your goals, whether it's wanting to teach more classes or to get hired with another company, or maybe you're working on something on the side and you want to make progress in it. It is so, so important to tell a friend, tell somebody what you're doing so that they can hold you accountable to that. So that's really been helping in my own life to move forward with things, is to talk about what I'm doing with the people that I'm surrounded with, and they help you to keep accountable by checking in and asking how it's going. As well, making it public. So when you make announcements on social media, or you are online, or you're doing anything on YouTube or on a website, things like that, when you make things public, that is a surefire way to keep you accountable, because you are telling a lot of people what you're working on and what you're doing. And so I've done that several times on this channel. I found that that's really helpful for me to move forward, is by saying that I'm going to do something, and then it's really hard for me to back out of it because I've already made that announcement, or I've already said that I'm going to do it. And so I really try to follow through with that. So yeah, when we put ourselves out there in the world, it sure does help us to make sure that we move forward. Great. So accountability, that's number 1. Okay, create manageable tasks. So if you're working on something, or maybe you're just, you've got tasks around the house, or you've got big goals, I want you to start to think about your overarching goal. What is your big goal for, this month or for this week? Maybe you want to build a website, or maybe you want to, do something in your garden, or do something in your house or with your family, or whatever it is, work-wise, business-wise, or in your personal life. Start with your really big overarching goal. And then I want you to figure out things that you can do to help you progress towards that goal. Because sometimes when we are talking about really big goals, they can certainly be really overwhelming, right? A large goal, like something that seems unattainable, is going to be easily put on the back burner because we haven't made actionable steps to move forward. So I think it's really important to break that larger goal down into smaller tasks, bite-sized tasks that we can work on in smaller steps. And every task that you complete is one step further to completing your goal. So definitely try to create manageable tasks, under your overarching goal. I used to, I still do occasionally, actually. I'll make a very big piece of paper with my goal at the top of whatever it is I want to work on that month. And I'd really try to get rid of the other things in my life that don't move me towards that goal. So all the distractions, or all of the unnecessary things, work-wise or teaching-wise, that I can maybe cut out and eliminate to help me to create more time to move towards the bigger goal. So I do that by writing it on a big piece of paper, and then putting down smaller goals underneath it, smaller tasks that I can achieve to achieve that goal. So yeah, start with your big goal, and then create actionable steps that will help you move towards your goal. So that's number 2. And acquire daily habits. So this is something that I find really, really difficult. I find it really difficult to change habits. Let me know in the comments. Do you find it difficult to change habits, whether it's waking up too late, or whether it's, whatever it is, doing things that, are not contributing to your overall health? Could be a number of things. And so some things that I'm really trying to put into place right now are maintaining really structured morning routines every day. So I try to get up and get a really good solid 1 to 2 hours of work done. Then I go to the gym, I come back, and then I work on some projects until lunchtime. And by doing that, my morning time is really my power time, when I can get the most done. So I try to maximize the morning as much as possible to get as much done as I can before the afternoon. Because over in Malaysia, I start teaching around 4 or 5 p.m. So I really, my evenings are kind of full of teaching. Actually, it was later. It was in the afternoon before when kids were at home. So I was teaching more like 2 p.m. and onwards. But my afternoon is not my productivity time for sure. So I try to get everything done that I really need to get done to make progress in the morning. So creating good morning routines and healthy eating habits as well. This is so good, I mean, in general, but certainly helps you to be clear-headed, stay on task. I'm pretty good with the exercise stuff, so I do try to exercise every day. And if I'm not exercising, I try to do something that's active to keep my mind clear and my body healthy. And I wrote down at the bottom there to get your most challenging tasks done first in the day. So the very first things I try to work on are things that might be the most difficult or the most challenging, because if I don't get them done early in the morning, I'm probably going to put them off and find excuses to not get them done as the day goes on. So these are just some daily habits that I'm working on to be consistent with every day. Okay, so number 4, sorry, I've just lost my screen. Okay, number 4, use tools to help you. And yeah, Rebecca was talking about Asana in the chat box. So that's a digital tool that you can use to keep yourself organized. So there's digital tools and there's offline tools. Use the tool that you're comfortable with. Use something that is going to help you to be consistent with using it. You know, there's no sense in trying to get into using something if it doesn't work with how you work. So you want to make sure that you're using some kind of tool, some kind of strategy, some kind of system that works for you. Are you a paper pencil person, or are you someone that needs to have everything on the computer? I'm more of a digital person, so I put everything on the computer, but there are definitely some things that I just do better with on paper and pencil in front of me. And you need to find what works for you. So I use tools like Trello to organize a lot of different things. It's kind of like a digital bulletin board. And I use a productivity app called the Pomodoro technique. So that lets me put timers on segments of time that I'm working, and then it has built-in break time. So you can set it to work for 25 minutes and then have a 5-minute break. And you can repeat that as many times as you want to. So that's really helpful for me, because when I'm doing my 25 minutes of work, I'm really intentional about not checking social media or not being on YouTube or not checking email and things like that. So yeah, offline tools, you might use a calendar, a goals chart, a notebook, a binder. Choose a method that works for you. So that's the most important thing. There are 1,000 tools out there, and there are some really, really great ones online. But it's important to find what works for you and what you're going to stick with consistently. Okay. Yeah. So cool. Lisa says, extremely hard to get started. It is super hard to get started on things for sure. I live in Malaysia, Keanu. Yep. Kuala Lumpur. Oh, I called you Rebecca. Sorry, Rachel. Mind block there. Okay, and then number 5 is to clear the noise. Sometimes it's really important to take a break from social media. Take a break from things that are distracting you. And when we're on social media or we're online, it's so easy to compare yourself to others. That's why I stress so much to just sometimes you need to avoid places that are going to cause you to move backwards. And you want to be in places that are going to inspire you, going to push you forward. So try to avoid, places that are not going to do that, where you're going to be comparing yourself. And give yourself permission to do things that are hard and difficult. It's sometimes so easy to say, well, I'm not capable of doing that, or I'm, who am I to be doing that? We get what's called imposter syndrome of thinking that, well, there's so many other people that are already doing this, or, this project that I have an idea about, what's the sense in doing it? Who am I? And so, those are limiting beliefs that we really need to squash and share only with a few people who are going to help you move forward. So, this is my last tip: to clear the noise, to clear those distractions that are not going to move you forward and help you to progress, with your goals. So these are things, guys, that I am implementing in my own life on a daily basis, and areas that I struggle with all the time. I think it's so, easy to not take action, right? Not taking action is so much easier than taking action. And so whatever it is in your life that you're struggling with or that you're wanting to do, I hope that you can maybe take a couple of these and put them into practice to help you move forward. So yeah, very cool. So yeah, which what are you guys working on? Let me know in the comments. Is there a project that you're trying to start, or what about taking action is really difficult for you? What do you find difficult when you're trying to take action? Is it any of the things that I talked about, or is there something else that you find really difficult to put into place to take action with? So Cindy says, working on website. Yeah, so that's a great overarching goal to have, Cindy, to create a website. Absolutely. But when we think about creating a website, there's so many things that go into that can cause us to put it off because it's difficult, right? There's so many moving pieces within that we need to figure out. And yeah, so I would encourage you to break that down into actionable steps to help you to do that. Get started with very simple, small things. Decide on a website name. Go and check if it's available on a website like GoDaddy. Start exploring themes, what you would like your website to look like, who you want to serve on your website, what's your website going to be all about. And you can start writing content for your website without actually having a website. So you can, while things are in the works, I think if you start writing content for it, you're more likely to move forward because you want to publish that stuff and you want to post it. So Rachel says, balancing learning what I need to know with creating the things I want to make. Sometimes I just need to create and know that it's okay if it's not perfect. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Progress over perfection, right? Yes, Kiana says, yes, Cindy, I'm thinking of OutSchool too, but trying to figure out where to start. Yeah, so, Keanu, that's great. So you're thinking of moving to OutSchool. That's a great goal to have. Start small, start connecting with other OutSchool teachers. Find out, the best places to go and learn information about OutSchool. There's tons of really great videos on YouTube that you can watch, and start brainstorming classes that you might want to create, things that you're passionate about, and start making a list of those things. Good morning, Luann. Yes, if you're just showing up, you're a little bit late. We're going to end soon, but good to have you here anyway. Tina says, sometimes it's overwhelming to know where to start. I want to begin to teach on OutSchool, but it's overwhelming thinking about it. I need to slow down and start small. Absolutely. And if you're thinking about OutSchool and you're overwhelmed with, well, what am I going to teach, right? Because you can see a lot of OutSchool teachers that are really, really successful on OutSchool, and you kind of think, well, they're already doing it, so why should I try to do it? Or, how am I going to get to that level? Start small. I mean, when all of us, or those that are online teachers, started, we didn't start with a full schedule. We started small, bit by bit. The hiring process was a process. You started with applying, and you just took off bite-sized chunks. So yeah. Who else is here commenting? Yes. Dr. Luza says, I'm on the verge of starting TESOL or ESOL certificate. I don't know where to start. So yeah, I mean, getting the TESOL is a good place to start. I've created a page on my website, Dr. Luza, that takes you kind of from start to end with, where to start, some resources you can start looking into, some companies that you can start looking into. I don't know your qualifications or your background, but you can certainly start there. I've also got videos on my channel about online teaching websites that you can go to search for various online companies. So do go and check that out if you want to see. I think it's called the seven online teaching search engines. So that's a good place to start as well. And I have a freebie on my website as well, how to find the best online ESL company. So it's a PDF. You can just enter in your email address there, and I will send you an email with the PDF to download on how to find the best online ESL company. Yes, that's right. Rachel has lots of free resources for starting with OutSchool for those considering it. So do go check out Rachel's channel, Merciful Mornings. Yeah, she would definitely be glad to help you. Rachel, not Rebecca. Sorry, Rachel. Lisa says, I can't get bookings with VIP Kids, so I'm going to branch out and see if I can find something more part-time friendly. Yeah, there's a lot of companies out there, you know. You can certainly, if you're a VIP Kid teacher, GoGo Kid, Magic Ears, they're hiring. You know, a lot of companies are quite saturated, and a few of them have been put on a hiring freeze. So, but there are companies out there. GoGo Kid and Magic Ears are two that are definitely hiring. So you can check those out. Cindy says, I also take a step away from online teaching, and I joined an online painting club. So I'm painting. It could go into teaching that in person eventually. That's a great goal to have. Awesome, Cindy. Very, very cool. Yeah. And Candy Addicted says, yeah, it takes time. It definitely does take time for sure. Keanu says, I'm still new. Do you have a video of why and how you chose to be in Malaysia? No, I don't have a specific video about that, but I do have a video where I walk around my neighborhood, and you can find that one. I did that about 3 weeks ago, and I do talk about why I came here, you know, why I've been here for 7 years, and what I like about Malaysia. So yeah, you can check that out. But my vlog videos generally don't do very well on YouTube. So I'm just not a vlogger, I guess, which is fine. I prefer being in a room, stationary, filming in front of a camera. That's just kind of my comfort zone. Blogging is a whole other skill, and yeah, it's more challenging. So I haven't done a lot of those, but I have talked about Malaysia on some videos. Yes, Cindy, that's right. I have talked about my life on some videos, yeah. So, yeah. What else was I going to tell you? I can't remember now. But we will end in a few minutes if anyone doesn't have any other thoughts or questions. I'm hoping to get some interviews in the coming lives so that it's not just me talking. I think interviews are really fun. And so hopefully next week I'll have an interview set up for my live. So hope to see you then. And I have a video coming out tomorrow. So it should be, yeah, I'll probably set it to premiere at this time. And it's how I used, the video title is How I Used VIP Kid to Build a Business. So I talk about 5 things that VIP Kid enabled me to do, the skills, the mindset work that VIP Kid gave me that I was able to then transfer into building a bigger business outside of VIP Kid. So I'm excited to share that. So that'll be tomorrow morning, probably have it premiere at this time. So please do check that out if you have a minute. Hey, Danny. Yes, that's your other channel. I almost didn't recognize you. Usually you're here on Danny Farms. Yeah. Thanks so much. Yeah, this is my, I don't know, I have a tattoo on my back of like, I won't show you, but it's like, it's a circular compass and it has waves and mountains. So it kind of represents like my love of the ocean and the outdoors and hiking and yeah, scenery and just being amongst the mountains. So I saw this shirt actually when I was traveling. I can't remember where I was. I think I was in Bali, Indonesia, of all places. Yeah. So I picked this. I think it was, or maybe I was in Thailand. I can't remember, but I picked this up and I love it. So yeah. So anyway, hope everyone's doing well and good to see everybody on the chat. Cindy says, definitely did a lot more for us. I'm so glad I took the chance to do it. I'm glad to know all the fun teachers I have met. Yeah, such a great community here for sure. Well, it is good to see everybody, but I do try to keep this to a nice packaged up 30 minutes so that you can all get on with your day and so that this is not a long video to watch on the replay. So if you're watching this on the replay, let me know in the comments if you found value with any of this and if this was helpful to you or what you're working on and what maybe is, you know, a struggle for you in moving forward and taking action. I would love to know, and I will definitely love to respond and get back to you. So thanks everybody. Thanks for being here. Have a great week, and I will see you same time, same place next week. Bye everyone.